Good day, everyone. So today we are going to tackle about Orff music
Pedagogy.
that will be presented by Group 3. So before we proceed to our lesson proper, let me first introduce to you my group mates.
Santi Andrea Opario. Mary Ibeth Pauya. John Renz Pinky. Nika Panes. Angel Lumugtang. Ea Jean Pagapulan. Mark Brian Mendoza.
And yours truly, Charity Gray Lazara. Karl Orff. So who is Karl Orff? So he is a German composer and educator, pioneered the Orff method between the 1920s and 1930s. The Orff approach is a child-centered way of learning music education that views music as a fundamental system similar to language, and argues that any children can learn language without formal training, so any child can learn music with a gentle and pleasant approach. This method focuses on teaching musical concepts and ensuring that the child has a thorough comprehension of them by allowing the child to experience at a various level. As Carl said, tell me, I forget. Show me, I remember. Involve me, I understand. As a result, this method fosters learning by doing. It's a place where each child participates and learns in his or own way. Children are given the opportunities to experiment with various musical instruments while also learning rhythm and improvisation. Multiple learning aspects are included, such as singing, dancing, acting, and playing various percussion instruments. As a result, rhythm, melody, and improvisation are key components of this method.
Thank you, Charity. So let's move on. In addition, the Orff method attempts to combine the elements of play with learning music. When the teacher provides a playful environment for the students, where they are encouraged to study, compose, and improvise, this method works incredibly well. They are not under any pressure to succeed and are not afraid of being judged by their peers or instructors when they are in such an environment. The fundamental idea is to learn through playing rather than thinking about the theories or already taught strategies and lessons. Teachers can create their own lesson plans, and children can learn through theater, acting, singing, chanting, dancing, and a variety of other actions. Lastly, the Orff method is an effective system of teaching music that proves highly beneficial to the children. It is because the major goal is for the children to be able to enjoy music in his or her own way. This technique believes in the understanding a child's thinking and allowing him or her to engage with music and musical aspects in his own unique way through play rather than teaching bookish notions. In other words of Karl Orff himself, experience first, then intellectualize, which can sum up the Orff method perfectly. That would be all. And now let's move on to the next part, which will be reported by Mr. John Renz Pinke and Mark Brian Mendoza.
Good day, everyone. Today, me and Mr. Mark Brian Mendoza will present to you the Orff schoolwork approach. The Orff approach is the way of educating children about music that incorporates singing, dancing, acting, and the use of percussion instruments to engage their minds and bodies. The Orff method, for example, frequently employs xylophone, metallophone, and glockenspiels. This approach was to combine movement, music, and dance. Orff developed the concept of elemental music based on the synthesis of the art of the Greek muses, which combined tone, dance, poetry, image, design, and theatrical gesture. This approach was to create a comfortable environment that approximates the child's natural world of play. The fundamental premise of the Orff approach is that children learn music by creating it themselves. Karl Orff believed children could learn music much in the same way they learn language, through imitation, exploration, and improvisation. And now, here is Mark by Mendoza to further discuss about this topic.
Thank you, Renz. Okay, so Orff is a child-centered way of learning. Teaching musical skills and concept using the Orff approach utilizes a four stages of learning process: imitation, exploration, improvisation, and composition. First, we have imitation. Echoing responding imitation builds the student's repertoire of pitches, rhythms, meter, tempo, and dynamics. Students absorb the fundamental music materials for their toolbox to be used in more complex activities in the future. Second is the exploration. In this learning process, students begin to understand and even apply the knowledge learned through imitation. They hear the movement of pitches, the content of rhythms, the movement of meter, and explore the timbre of whatever instruments or voice with which they have access. The Orff Instrumentarium provides almost limitless possibilities for exploration. Next learning process is the improvisation. After exploration and imitation, students not only understand but also can apply some of possible combinations of rhythms and pitches, forms and dynamics, etc. within a musical framework. And the last stage of learning process is the composition. Composing is a pinnacle of music making in that the composer must also analyze the musical materials she or he is working with in order to create a new piece. So those are the stages of learning process. Thank you.
Now, let us proceed to the four ways to teach music with the Orff method: through say, sing, play, and dance.
There are so many different teaching methods out there. There is no wrong way to teach music. However, we have various techniques in teaching it to our students. And the following are some of the ways. Let's start with the one way, which is the say or through speech or language. Orff combines speaking, singing, movement, and instruments in its teaching approach. And it could also be taught using stories and poems. When teaching through speech, you have the kids speak the poem first, then add creative movement or instrument to make it musical. When using stories, read books to the kids where they can move to the words of the book. Taking a story and adding sound effects, leitmotifs, instruments, vocal sounds, body percussion, and actors and or a narrator also brings literature to life. The goal of a leitmotif is to help the listener identify a main character or theme in the story. Let's say, for example, characters and themes are given a short musical pattern, and every time that character or theme appears, the musical pattern is performed. Also, sound effects are added to enhance the action or bring a fuller meaning or experience. For example, if the story speaks of a bell chiming, play a bell peal on a glockenspiels for older children's response, or more minimally, hit a triangle. Excellent stories for this type of activity include folk tales or fairy tales from around the world. Use stories that use action words like jump, dance, skip, twirl, and etc. Now, I will present to you the Orff method sample format. First, choose a poem. When you choose a poem, read it to the class. Next, ask the class to recite the poem with you. Recite the poem together while keeping a steady beat by tapping hands to knees. Third, choose the students who will play the instruments. Ask the students to play certain notes on cue words. Note that the instruments must match the word. It is important for them to maintain the rhythm. Fourth, add other instruments and choose students to play the instruments. And lastly, number 5, discuss the day's lesson with students. Ask them questions like, was the piece easy or difficult? Also ask questions to assess students' comprehension. Using this way, students learn about rhythm, melody, harmony, texture, form, and other elements of music. These learned concepts become springboards for further creative pursuits. Up next is the other way of teaching music using Orff method, which is through singing.
Good day everyone, I am Ayajin B. Pagapulan, and today I will discuss to you the other way to teach Orff method through singing. The Orff approach is a beneficial teaching methodology that helps to successfully implement improvisation and better teaching composition. Through singing, dancing, acting, and use of instruments, it helps children to learn music. It also promotes active participation in musical activities that will aid students in applying the skills in later musical experiences. At the same time, it encourages children to experience music at their own level of understanding. In this method, students are taught songs by rote, in which many of the teachers may done this already. Some teachers still enjoy teaching songs using textbooks, and this is perfectly fine. When teaching kids to sing using the Orff approach, there are some methods on how to perform it. It may be through listening in a recording, or a teacher will sing it first. So this is the example of recording.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Okay, in the recording, the teacher will let his or her students to listen in a particular music first. So this is the example of a teacher who sings first the song in front of his or her students. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Then, the children will echo sing a line at a time after the teacher. After they are comfortable and familiarized with the song, it will then proceed to adding movement or instruments. For example, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. Alright. So when adding instruments, children can play different instruments, or specifically percussion instruments like drums, piano. There are a lot of songs that are short enough for the students to learn quickly and don't incorporate a lot of verses, such as Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Next is Baba Black Sheep. Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master and 1 for the dame. 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane. Okay, next song is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. For our last song, we have Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. After that, you can design an activity for those students to demonstrate their learning in music. It is either individually, by partner, or by groups. Through this, children will be able to gain confidence and to provide opportunities for them to discover and explore their talents and skills. Before I end my discussion, let me show to you this video of students who sings and dance together with their teacher.
Good day everyone, I am Angel Silamugdang and I will be the one to discuss to you the other way to implement or to teach the Orff method. When teachers think of the Orff method, probably the first thing that comes to mind are drums and xylophones or any other musical instruments. Some might think that instruments are a large part of the Orff approach, but they are totally not. When at school teaching the kids, it is normal that there is too little instruments to use since the kids are just starting. Kids can actually create sound or music using their body parts or the body percussion. Not only they can use their body to dance, but they can use them to play too. Just like that. So I think at our age, we now know how to skillfully create and play a sound out of our body parts, right? There are 4 main types of body percussion. The snap, the clap, the tap, and the stomp. In fact, we usually use more body percussions when making beautiful and playful sound than using instruments. After using body percussion, transfer to the instruments. A goal to work towards is to have a good variety of xylophones, glockenspiels, drums, rhythm instruments, and recorders. There are so many ways to use the instruments in the classroom. Just like for instance, you can teach a song and have different students in groups at each part, utilize the instruments in centers, have one group playing an instrument part, one group singing or speaking, and one group creating movement, or you use an instrument while the students move to the beat. The possibilities are endless. So here is an example of a teacher making her pupils taking part in playing various instruments for their specific part in the song. So once again, this is the Orff approach method, or this is how you actually implement or teach this approach in music through play.
Hello, I am Mary Ibeth who will be presenting the last but definitely not the least way of teaching music utilizing the Orff method through dance or movement. Oftentimes, when we think of music, we would immediately relate it to dance, which we know of interconnected. Just as Karl Orff quoted, elemental music is never just music. It's bound up with movements, dance, speech, and so it's form of music in which one must participate, in which one is involved not as listener but as a co-performer. He believed that children will continue to learn as they play. This method focuses on teaching musical concepts and building a proper understanding for them by letting the child experience it himself at different levels. The Orff method attempts to combine the elements of play or movement with learning music. Therefore, this method works extremely effective when the teacher creates an atmosphere of play for the students where they are encouraged to learn, compose, and improvise. When they are in such environment, they neither feel the pressure of performing nor fear judgment from their peers or teachers. In the early stages, time is spent in developing vocabulary of stationary and locomotor movements that can be used in countless combinations and situations. If you've been around kids any length of time, you know they love to move. Movement should be a huge part of elementary music classroom. The way to teach dance and movement is through folk songs and creative movement. Fun ways to incorporate dance is the use of carves to have the kids paint high and low to the music. Teach folk dances where they can pair up with a partner or learn dances as a class. Have them create movement in their bubble of space. The possibilities of incorporating movements are endless and totally up to you. Creativity is what matters here, and allowing the students time and space to explore different ways to move their bodies. The Orff method is an effective system of teaching music that proves highly beneficial to children as its main focus for the child to experience the music according to its own understanding and not believe in teaching bookish theories.